traveling. There we go. I'm, time traveling. I'm, projecting. I'm remote viewing, and I don't even try to do these things. Somewhere in there's this really advanced soul that is residing in this body and knows exactly how to do all these things. And so I just kind of let it happen. But I do have like cues as to when certain things are going to happen, because I've kept track of the surges that happen at night, the vibrations, the frequencies that happen all the time to me. So I've just managed to like keep track and write down every event that I have, either in my dream journal or on my calendar. And so I started noticing a pattern with things, and I started noticing, tonight's going to be a night of travel. Oh, tonight. Now, there have been times where one time did not feel any of the normal cues, but I was jumping on a trampoline and I went to bed that night, and something about jumping on the trampoline activated something within me. And I went to bed, and next thing I know, I'm hearing the rushing of wind. And I'm like, wait a minute, my hair isn't blowing anywhere. Like, I'm not like, and I'm like, don't open your eyes yet. Don't open your eyes. Because if you open your eyes and you're traveling, what happens is when you have to maintain your emotions. You have to remain centered, because if you get too excited or too scared, it'll slam you back into where you're at. And so I slowly but surely opened my eyes, and I'm in this gold plasmic cloud. And this is like, no joke. And I'm like, okay. We can keep calm. Oh my God, I'm not in my room anymore. So when I say that I travel and I'm not in my room anymore, wherever you're at right now, as real as you are looking at your arm, that's as real as that's what was happening. I was literally physically no longer in my room.
Wow.
And I was in this cloud, this plasmic cloud, and I'm floating there, and I'm like, okay. And I can still hear the rushing wind, but I'm not going up. I'm not going down. I am literally like not moving, yet feeling and hearing rushing, but I'm not moving. And so once it was done,
wow,
literally, I feel my feet on the ground. I look at my hands, look at my feet. I'm like, okay, I'm really here. I walk out this door, and I'm in a hallway, and I see these other people lined up waiting to get into the room. And I'm like, so like, just stunned. And I'm still looking at myself going, okay, we're really here. And I look over, and there's this being who's very humanoid looking, but glowing blue.
Cool.
I go over and I look, and I'm like, do you see me? And it's communicating with me, and no, we're not opening our mouths, and it's telling me, yeah, I can see you. I'm like, can I touch you? And they're like, sure. So I touch, because I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not, so I'm actually, wait a minute, and I'm touching, and like, oh my gosh, do you know who I am? And it, yeah, like they looked at me, it was like, yeah, I know who you are. I was like, okay, I just had to check. I'm just checking. Okay. Oh, and then boom, I'm like, wake up, and I'm in my room, and I'm like,
what happened?
I don't even know what just happened. So from that point, that was like 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I started having these series of events where I was like being taken out of my room.
Yeah.
And it wasn't abduction. There was no abduction involved. Aliens were not taking me out of my room. It was none of that. I was literally going other places. And that's when I realized that my light body was just as physical as my regular body. But sometimes I think I actually really was physically transported somewhere else, and I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I heard you say your light body. And I mean, I have an idea of what you mean by that, but there are others who are listening who might not know. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean?
So the light body is it's your energetic body, and it's actually a bunch of different things. There's about 10 different bodies that you have. And there's the auric body, there's the pranic body, there's all these different like energetic bodies that you have. And the light body is when like it's just like your body in a sense. But it's what you travel around in when you're going out of body, and when you're coming out of body, and when you're traveling around, whether it be in the astral or any other place. It is like your consciousness and your soul have like create this like shell kind of. I mean, you know, it's
okay.
It's your vehicle. It's literally it's a light body vehicle. And so that's how your consciousness like is able, it has to have something to kind of travel around in, right? And so in order for you to like, you know, be who you are. And so that's kind of like, that's the only way I can really explain. I know there's like lots of information, lots of books and lots of things about the light body. But for me, it is, even when I look at my light body, it's the same. I have the same tattoos. I'm the same. There's no difference other than the fact that I can see a version of myself down in my room, and I can see just as real a version of myself wherever I'm traveling. So that's what we travel around in is our light body.
Cool. So I know that you had some questions.
Well, I do. I just to, you know, full disclosure here, I lived out in the Southwest for a good chunk of my life, and I know exactly what she's talking about. Stars that just start moving out of nowhere. Maybe they're man-made, maybe they're not. Maybe they're something spiritual, maybe they're extraterrestrial. I don't have the answers, but I know I've seen them. I've heard the buzzing in the desert, which shouldn't be happening. You know, yeah. It literally sounds like you're under high tension wires. It's like this bzzz.
Okay.
It's a weird feeling. The desert, especially the Southwest, is full of weird things that are unexplainable as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of empathy for you in that sense, because I kind of know what you mean. Now, the only time I've ever come close to anything you're even talking about is the 2 times I did DMT. And
a little different.
Yeah, you're talking about completely naturally going. I felt like someone put me in a slingshot and shot me through the universe into something I can't even explain. It was like looking at the universe, but from a 4th dimension, from the outside.
Feel my shit.
What?
Yeah.
So,
how'd it do?
So, okay. So what did you want to...
Well, one thing, I've been trying to do this naturally ever since, because it was a plane of existence that I like, and I want to go back, but it feels like it's almost impossible to do for someone like me, or at least it feels like it's impossible for me.
So it's everybody, pretty much everyone. What I'm telling you, these experiences I have. I mean, everybody at some point in time has.
Who's red? Hi, Pete.
Hey,
everybody.
I love you. Are you married?
Hey guys. Yep. So I'm just gonna take a moment, everyone except for Marion. There we go. Oh. Wait, Marion, I should have unmuted you. There we go. All right. Sorry about that.
Get those douchebags off there.
Okay. No, I didn't hear you.
Good.
Okay.
So with one of the things with traveling, we all do it. We all travel out of body. We've
suck
all,
my titties.
Yeah, those assholes. Get rid of them. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, that's not nice. Pete, suck my pussy lips.
Do that.
Excuse me.
Excuse you. Pete, suck me off. Make me come.
Okay. Goodbye to them. Sorry about that, everybody.
Back to the adult room.
That was a little bit ridiculous.
That's bound to happen. I'm not broken up about it.
Anyway.
Sorry about that, Marion. Apologize.
And Pete, I'm not sure what that was about, but I'm sorry that was aimed at you, my friend.
I don't know why. I don't know who they are.
They must have thought you were super handsome. That's what I'm guessing.
I don't know what galaxy they're from, but they're not from mine.
I don't know who they are. Anyhow.
No friends of mine.
Gosh. You know what? It's because somebody saw the event and saw the passcode and probably signed on. So it's okay, whatever. Yeah, that's the only problem with putting your passcode. You better take that down later.
Yeah.
With the traveling thing, what I have to say about that is that when it first started happening, I actually had the first time I actually remembered doing it, because like I said, we do it all the time, was actually right after, probably a few months after my first Reiki attunement that I had. And really for me, how I had to really, how do I explain this? I had to really integrate into my body and be in touch with me and with my body in order to be able to travel. There's also a certain amount of being able to get in certain theta states or theta, like certain brainwave states. And you can practice those states through like binaural beat type transcendental meditation. There is ways that you can practice that. I did not practice, it just started happening, but it's more about kind of being open to it, but not trying either. That's kind of the thing, is that I had to really, like, when I started having the out of bodies, that's when I was like, oh, whoa, this is really happening. So that's, once I started getting used to coming out of body, that's when I started kind of astral traveling. It was like I had to kind of get my sea legs first, and so I wouldn't freak myself out, because when you travel, not just out of body, but when you're actually like traveling to other places and seeing other aspects of yourself, it'll if you can't, sometimes you think you can handle it, but you can't. And so
you dip yourself into astonishment, you're just completely, like, it's a pool of astonishment and you don't know how to swim out of it. It's one of those really weird moments, but mine was obviously, chemically induced. So it's definitely different, I'm assuming, because I don't know what it's like, but it was something that I have a friend who's a practitioner. I don't mean to butt in, I apologize. ADD. But I have a friend who's a practitioner, my tradition, and he was talking about something, I think it was called the theta gamma synchronicity or something, synchronicity, something like that. Where you're saying your brain waves hit this certain point, and it's usually through meditation. Yeah. You're saying where you bring yourself down to or up to this point where mind become one or something. Yeah, something along those lines.
So what I started noticing is if I really wanted to, especially if I wanted to remote view, or if I really wanted to travel to get used to it, what I would do is I would nap in the middle of the day. There's a certain amount of, when you're napping, you don't go all the way to sleep, but you end up staying in the in-between state. And that's where you can actually really start to get used to coming out of your body and traveling and seeing things. And then once because I noticed, I was like, oh, if I take a nap at like 2 o'clock, and this would be like on my days off, because that's when like stuff would really start happening. And so I kind of started doing that to practice getting into that state, because I didn't know about transcendental meditation, or I didn't know how any of this stuff was happening. It was kind of like, I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned that, because today, before we did our reading, earlier today, we did a reading for clients of ours. And right before, like an hour and a half before, I was like, I'm going to just lay down for an hour, because I learned over time of doing this that I'm sharper, better at what I do after I've taken a nap, or at least rested my bones. It brings me to a place where images come quicker, they become more clear, they become downright visceral. They're like in your face.
You're not so grumpy.
I'm not so grumpy. But it's interesting to have that confirmation, because there's always that part in the back of my head, and I don't know, I've been trying to drown it out, but for some reason I have this thing in the back of my head going, you're bullshitting yourself. Hey buddy, you're bullshitting yourself. I don't know why it's there. I think it's because of probably
imposter syndrome. That's all.
yeah.
I
That's
was
is
just thinking the same thing, imposter syndrome. Yeah. There's also, the other key component I have to say is that I started really writing down all my dreams too. I started really making myself remember what was happening in my sleep, when I was asleep. So that's another way to start accessing that, is because, so when that's the thing, is I would go to bed with the intention of, I will remember my dreams. I will remember everything that happens to me in the sleep state. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. Now, when I was a kid, like I said, I can still remember dreams that I had when I was a kid. And I don't know why I have that, but some of us do, we just know these certain dreams that we had.
Mine burn away like the pre-dawn fog. They're there for a little, and if I don't write it down instantly, it's gone. Unless it's like one of the ones that I've told you about that were super visceral.
So actually,
you just have to start, like, it's kind of like, you kind of have to like practice a little bit, like you just kind of, but that's the thing, is when I really stepped into all of this, like I went through about a year and a half of what I call training in the sleep time, because I manifested it. I asked for it, so I was doing a lot of stuff in my dream time. And so now it just happens on the regular. Now it's like, I go to bed and next thing I know, I'm having, these beyond lucid, super vivid, like I'm actually having real conversations with people, and I'm exchanging information with people, and I'm talking to other beings. They're telepathically communicating with me. I mean, now I've gotten so far to the level, this is not a joke either. This is not even, this has actually really happened in December. I actually woke up, and I woke up because something woke me up, and there was this like loud, like sound happening in my head that wasn't happening anywhere else. And I looked down, and half my arm was gone. And it was because it was invisible. I couldn't see it. And I thought I was tripping out, and I grabbed a crystal, and I could see that my hand was still grabbing onto the crystal. And I went, this is new. But I didn't freak out, because I've been so used to having all these crazy experiences over the last, however many years. And I basically was phasing in and out. And I'm like, this is, wow, why is this happening? And and all I heard was, it's okay, close your eyes. And I closed my eyes, and I just went down, and this being was talking to me in another language. And it was full on telepathic. Now, telepathic communication is not what people think it is. It's so crazy. But so that's the only reason why I'm where I think I'm at where I'm at with it, is because over the last however many years, I've just been like intuitively kind of, going with that intention of like, I want to travel, I want to remember, I want to travel, I want to remember. So it took me that long, but it doesn't mean it has to take you that long. It's just that
I've had two. I've had two dreams. I'm sorry, I hate to keep butting in. I've had two dreams that were straight up like out of body. Yeah. Definitely very close to what I've told you about. Where there was one where I told you where I was holding an egg. I was in this weird, almost catacomb. Yeah. And it looked like something the crypt keeper would live in. It was like this dust, but it was so real. And I go into this big chamber, and there's this egg. It looks like it's made of quartz. And I pick it up, and there's just this thing. I don't know if it was from the side of me or in my own head telling me, whatever you do, do not let go. Right. And I held on to it, and the only way I could describe it was like holding on to an atomic bomb going off, but in slow motion. And the more I held it, like I could feel myself dematerializing. And I was like, at one point I was like screaming, and right at the point where I thought I couldn't take it anymore, it was like, you passed. I was like, and I just woke up. Like that? I was covered in sweat. I went and hugged my mother. Like, it was like, I was freaked the fuck out. It freaked me out, man. So, and that one sticks to me like glue.
I actually wanted to change the subject for just a moment, if that's cool. Yeah. Because, you mentioned something about telepathic communication. And Marion, would you be cool if I shared our story with, about my a friend who's dear to my heart, my 22-year-old autistic gentleman in my life, and he connected with Marion before I even told him that Marion existed. He was like,
No shit.
yeah, we were sitting in his living room and he's just, chatting about metaphysics because that's kind of what he does. But he does it through, typing, right?
Yeah.
And through just mind to mind. Like, it's like he doesn't actually speak verbally.
The Shining.
Kinda. But
Interesting.
so then he started asking about all these different things, and he starts talking about Enochian and about, like, and I showed him a picture, a beautiful picture that Marion had drawn, had made with a computer and whatever, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And it's got light language all in it, and he started translating it and talking about Marion like they were besties.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
and so,
incredible.
I've had his parents' permission to talk, a little bit about it. So I want to be sure that that's clear that this is, with permission. But because they love it so much and they feel like he's a celestial being of sorts, they just feel like he's really super special. But they've created this relationship where every couple of weeks or so they just chat with each other. He'll grab my phone and look for Marion's name, and all of a sudden I'm like, excuse me.
I am curious about the Enochian text because the only point of reference I have is the works of John Dee about Enochian texts, and even he wasn't convinced 100% that they were celestial beings, so to speak. He thought that they might have been darker entities working at play, and if you're familiar with the story of John Dee, it's probably more than likely he was tapping into something dark. But I've always been interested in it, and I never really dealt deep into it. That's definitally more your cup of tea than mine.
Yeah, but I mean, she does light language.
Yeah, this is exactly why I bring it up, because I'm very curious about it.
So I actually had to look up Enochian too, because I was like, whoa, what is this? And so then I looked it up, and supposedly it was angel language and all that stuff. And yeah, and then the guy who wrote about it, a lot of people did think that there was a lot of darkness or a lot of something going on. So in the Enochian text, like in the language itself, like I do recognize some of it. So I mean, I'm sure at some point in time, like that might actually come through my writing, because I'm a scribe somewhere in the many multitudes of lives I've had, where I've written in many different languages, and so there's probably something in there with my writing that's in there as well. And her client, him and I definitely connect. Like we can communicate here, like, and just feel stuff. And I love it because he can look at my stuff and he tells me exactly what it means. But there are some things that I've done that I know what they mean, and he knows what they mean, but he won't tell Holly the full truth for whatever reason.
There was a time where she told him to, like, be kind to me and whatever, and she did like a whole thing, a whole little video. And she was talking about being kind and making sure, to use gentle hands and all that kind of stuff. And he told me it meant something about hope and love for the world, or, something to that effect. Because he felt like he was getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, there's a lot of, there's a lot of different, like, you can look in a lot of different people do light language writing, and some people don't speak it and some people do. I mean, there's so many different forms of it, and some of it will look like, everybody will interpret it different, and it will look like a lot of different things that you've seen before.
I speak some weird language in my sleep that I'm not aware of.
And he tells me I speak German in mine, so I don't.
You speak something. I mean, I speak German. You speak something.
If you think about what we actually have within our DNA, we have everything within our DNA. And if you think about like even your own family lineage, let's say like, yeah, you're here right now in the United States, but who's to say that somewhere down the line that a relative of yours wasn't in some other country speaking another language, which has then therefore been, passed down from the genes and from the DNA into your body. So when you do certain things become activated within the DNA and release it into your system. So therefore, when I'm like, you're going to speak certain languages. So when I speak, I'm not only speaking earth languages that are ancient, but I'm also bringing in galactic languages as well. So you're literally like light language is the overall term, but really what's happening is you're speaking your soul's language, which you as a person right now in that body, that soul that you have experienced millions of lives, not just 100 or 200 or 300. Your soul has been around for ever. And think about how
celestial being itself, isn't it? That's the whole idea. Okay.
So you're gonna carry things into this physical vessel that are going to store your DNA is like one of those things that you can put information into and download information into. It's like
what is it? Jesus, USB file thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing is when I'm doing all like the stuff for me, like all it is I'm accessing like stuff within me. And I'm bringing through languages from my highest aspect. And some people call it, you're channeling, but I don't channel other beings. I only bring through my deal. Like
okay.
My stuff. I don't, now I have other friends that, do channel other beings and other stuff like that and can speak various different languages. But I just got the one.
This is the thing, but this idea that your DNA can carry language or carry. This is what changed my opinion on traditions. I used to think traditions were just dead people's baggage, and that we need to move forward. The only way we're going to progress as a people is if we just say fuck traditions. I really did feel that for a good long. Yeah, I hate that song.
I know,
but it actually took something very recently that brought me back to it, and I was watching people dance. And their dance was a form of ritual. It was a dance it was like a magical dance that they were doing. And I went, wow. And that dance has been performed for thousands of years. Yeah. And I was like, it's interesting that that's carried into the physical realm through their dance. But language, song, I talk about music being like that when people ask me to prove magic, I go music right off the bat. You can explain the science of it bouncing off, sound waves bouncing off your eardrum, making sound. But why do you hear certain songs and they make you well up with tears? I always say Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, especially with the music video, I well up. It tears me up. It's why I hear, you listen to Slayer and you want to go punch someone in the mouth. That's magic. It is influencing the physical world with something that's created out of nothing. And language does that. I mean, we've seen that for good and ill in human history. I know I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but
well, that's because music actually was the first language. So really quickly, like it's sound, frequency, and vibration, which is what music is created. And that was the first language before there was ever anything that came out of anybody's mouth. So, yeah, I mean, and when you hear certain songs or you hear certain things, it's because it's actually hitting your, like, everybody has we have these these soul chords, and it's hitting a soul chord.
Yes.
And you're resonating with it. And if you've ever had it where certain songs that used to really like woo, and then all of a sudden like that song no longer does anymore, but then like another one will, it's kind of like you're no longer like okay, like I've already gotten what I needed from this particular thing. I'm no longer really into that music, and like now I'm into this type of music. So it's like you're progressing, like kind of as well as like
I kind of know what you mean there.
Yeah.
I was wondering, Marion, if you wouldn't mind maybe doing a reading or two for somebody who's listening today? What do you think?
Sure. What kind of reading?
We're just seeing
Don't
what
put it on
you
the spot or anything.
feel. No, I mean, we did, like, discuss the possibility, or, you know, maybe taking a question from somebody who's been listening.
Yeah, I mean, I can try. I haven't. Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm sure we're not the only people that are interested in this. I guarantee you.
So if there's anybody, you know, who's got
Anyone
a
with questions, raise a hand.
give a little wave or
Raise one
something.
before I do, because I can keep talking forever.
Oh, that's fair, actually.
I know. Too bad Peter.
No, I'll talk a little.
What's that?
Too bad Peter didn't stick around. I don't know what happened to him.
Peter, what the fuck? I'm scared.
He's not even here.
It is called Psychics and Swears. So
Yeah.
okay.
I was celestially trying to reach.
I'm just saying, he's not even here, and you're swearing at him.
I love Peter.
Well, you know what I can do is, if nobody has a question or anything, I can actually pull some. I have this thing called the Cosmic Consciousness Ascension deck, and
Ooh.
Fucking A.
and it's actually light language cards. All of it. There's 4 different. There's Lyra, Pleiadians, Sirius, and the other one. And so these cards are they're about whether things. So the Orion cards. The Orion cards are about releasing. Sirius is about initiation. Pleiadian cards are about expansion, and then the other ones.
Interesting.
There's a Sirius card in my deck too, which is kind of neat. And for us, it's like total
serious?
change.
Are you serious? Okay, so
I just have a question. I just want to comment that this is very fascinating. It is well beyond anything I understand.
You and me both.
I love it.
Too is that I have always remembered my dreams. So,
Lucky duck.
well,
Yeah.
yes and no. Trump was in my dream last night.
Oh. Ooh.
Was a handgun involved?
No.
I've dreamt about Trump too myself. Well, okay, so I had a dream about him, and I was meeting him in this Midwestern town. It was one of my super vivid traveling dreams. And there were like men in black everywhere. And we were in the middle of some Midwestern town and meeting at some Mexican food restaurant. And I was worried about the hot sauce.
You should be.
And I was worried he was going to hit on me because I was wearing all black. And I was in this like total like crazy pantsuit looking thing. It wasn't even, I don't know if it was a pantsuit or a dress, but I was totally worried that he was going to like hit on me and like grab my butt.
He did hit on me. He hit on me.
Oh, Karen,
I know.
Oh.
Let's
Very
see on you in your head.
My dreams are always crazy weird. Always.
Hey, I've had some fucking weird dreams, man. Believe me, I get it.
I love the phone calls from Kerrigan where she's like, "Can you help me interpret this?"
Shit.
You know what I'm gonna do, John? John, I'm gonna pick a card around your astral traveling, and let's see what needs to like happen. Okay.
I'm game. Let's do this.
Okay, so I'm gonna see what needs to happen in order for you to be able to travel here. Okay. Oops. Ooh, that one wanted to jump out.
Ooh, you got him flying.
Yeah. So okay. So there's the card that came up is you have. It's interesting because you need to release pain.
Sorry. My reaction to everything is to laugh. I apologize.
Well,
That's okay. So this is
I'm
around release.
just talking about what a ball of fucking anguish I am.
Well, you're gonna laugh even harder when you see this.
Okay.
You need an initiation into acceptance and an initiation into forgiveness.
oh
The F
my
word. Fuck, I'm gonna go hang myself. I'll
goodness.
see you guys later.
Get over here.
Fucking forgiveness.
Oh wow, I'm feeling.
Forgiveness is not one of my strong suits.
This is a total echo of something somebody
Shut
said
up.
earlier
Fucking
today.
ball breaker. I'll break it to the end.
So it's basically the card is the Syrians know that to be powerful you must be receptive to life and change. Acceptance of your now moment is a courageous and wise foundation of improvement that is born out of love rather than distress. Your open heart is your signal of confidence and capability. So
Well, look, compassion, hate. I hold on to hate because I need it. I need the hate. It reminds me to keep the fucking evil people out of my life.
Oh my
I
gosh.
like my hate. I like my rage. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. If I burned my hand in the fucking stove, I now hate that stove, and it will remind me not to touch the hot stove again. It's
Or you can just think,
forgive the fucking stove and then burn my hand again.
or just think that, maybe I don't be a dumbass and put my hand on a hot stove. I mean, there's,
Yeah, you do exactly what I was taught my whole life. Fucking bring the fucking forks into thee, for you are the sinner. So now I must be the fucking.
well, yeah, if you're the one who put your hand on the hot stove, it's kind of.
All right, here's a better analogy. The person who put my hand on a hot stove or took my hand, put it on a hot stove. I now hate that person.
Okay.
I have a right to hate that person doing
I
that.
just cut them out of my life, but that's just me.
Forgiveness is a good word with me. It makes me.
Well, okay. With this, so what I'll do is, because this can actually, anybody that's here can experience this, or even anyone that watches this. So with the Orion, with the pain, I can actually do a little bit of a activation around releasing pain and initiating yourself into acceptance and forgiveness. So you want to hear some light language?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay, so I'm connecting with the card of pain. Okay.
I feel like I have to breathe deeply for this one.
I keep seeing Pinhead when I close my eyes.
All right, John. Shund urmast arwarianist elit urmat steni. Dielit edast karnit erwan. Telle urvad stoer at van het stoer met vast arwa. Tastu umarfat stust met steri. Parvinere urhat wat de sulu turmat stoen marvat urmat wat resnerkin. Daar was nu turbat keren tassan was een durm. Da stoer van het mat urvastur. Parhin die kiel de stoelen maar vadust. Deste alle armen riviti kurmat stoen. Daar was deste der ar. Daar hittusten masterum. Parfadrustenubur, tarfast in met die van de kum. Daar was satur, tas nur, maar hietur mat astur. Daar valor. Daar genereert arvenere ekurmat astum eriterste. So you have a lot of pain that comes from the father side of your family, and at some point in time in a life, or even in this life, you've had a knife in your back, so the knife has been pulled. You also, within the heart area, you have lots of little things that have been stabbing, kind of taking, and some of it is from other lives, and some of it is from this life currently that you're carrying into this life. And some of it is playing out in your outer world, because that's what's happening in your inner world. So there's a pushing. It can feel like there's this thing that's happening with the right side, but there's also this resistance with the left side, which is the feminine aspect of ourselves. So there's some resistance as well to receiving and receiving stuff, receiving whatever love or compassion or anything like that. So breathe that in, because that's gonna trip some stuff in your DNA. And then with the serious initiation, with acceptance and forgiveness, this is going to, hold on. Shinti ashlua ashmer, Basta basta kun tasta awa tishnit sumata tena sundukia karmat istul tiri mediar van der wallet alu arro ditiastu ala ale tiramati irmet stukum asata asdenime darbeter van the moon sandur van der beti urmadriva tu stu tur van der meni urmet enmar sandir vater ummat Tästä urmat estiin dien armat irwa arvat tevertigi parvnervagun summa dieta sale tirba sumbar vataumon sarrin dien durmat shinte arfet smir där vidare vandrar kum sindiar fatustember. You have a lot of dragon energy in you, so Santar Sarwarya Narwa. I'm trying to get your Kundalini to rise. So Sand Sud Send Island Irmat Sandia Turma di Purmandas Dum Sandarwayan Ashtarelu Delitirvanish Nedime Kirmat O Sarman. Your dragon is stepping in because that's fearful. It's not fearful. Sorry, wrong word. That is a fierce energy, but it is a fierce love energy and a fierce peace. And it sounds really contradictory, but it is fierce and strong and wise and loving and compassionate, actually. And dragons really help birth stuff. And that is what your dragon is here for you to do, is to birth the dragon egg that you have, that egg that you saw in your dream. That is your dragon egg. You are birthing a dragon. In order for you to do that, you must step through this initiation. You also need to drink a lot of water after this, and you need to really ground this into the earth.
Stop and just take it all in. So Marion,
Yeah.
you tapped on something huge.
Like a lot of things, actually. It's,
But the dragon thing was huge. He was actually born in the year of the dragon.
it's a Chinese zodiac symbol. That's mine. The Chinese zodiac. Also, I mean, I've had an affinity for dragons my whole fucking life.
Yeah,
Literally, since I was a kid, I loved dinosaurs and I loved dragons.
but you
Like two
tapped
things I
on.
love. And I'm very familiar with, what dragons represent. I mean, they represent a bunch of things, but wisdom, especially in the Eastern tradition, fortune, and I am a fierce lover, and I'm a protector. I like to protect the people that I care about.
Papa Bear style.
Yeah, like fucking ferocious. I was telling people, when I take a step forward, I don't step back. If I need to go forward, consequences don't even mean anything to me anymore. That's just noise in my head, noise in my ears. I will protect. If I have to go to jail, if I have to die, whatever. If I have to take that step, there's consequences mean nothing to me. Yeah. That's because when I was a kid, I was just scared. I was scared all the fucking time.
Yeah. Well, now you've got that dragon. You've got that dragon with you. It's really strong. Dragons always bring a lot of heat. They're really, like, whenever I bring them through, it's like my whole body heats up and I start sweating.
That's as you were doing what you do, I started getting hot. I almost took my fucking shirt off. I was like, I'm burning up here. I'm not trying to get you guys all crazy. The minor mercies of life.
Welcome to my world, guys. This is my world.
Constant joking and smoking.
Thank you
so much, Mary.
much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you for answering my questions, as annoying as I can be.
Stop it.
I appreciate it dearly.
Absolutely. It was fun. Thanks for having me on, you guys. It was a good time.
How about you get the ghost stories? What time is it?
It's already past 10. It's all
right. Well,
she had enough ghost stories for all of us. That was pretty
awesome.
freaking amazing.
That was one of the cooler things.
that
I
was
wish to experience.
like who wakes up like half invisible? I mean, that's freaking crazy, wild, and amazing, and unbelievable.
And this is the thing, like,
I mean, I believe you, but
it
it's
makes
like
total sense, but man, it is out of fucking control.
Yeah.
If I woke up and didn't see my arm, I would piss myself.
Oh yeah,
No,
nothing shocks me anymore. It really
no
doesn't.
kidding, right? I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I try to tell people some of this stuff, and they just look at me like, "What drugs are you on?" And I'm like, "I'm not."
That's gotta be the coolest thing. Is anytime I tell this story, people are like, "Yeah, but you were on drugs," and I'm like, "No, but you don't understand. This is like a sacrament," and I'll give them the whole fucking spiel.
I don't care.
And they're like, "Yeah, but you were on something." And I'm like, "So what you're telling me is if this came to me totally sober, they're like, oh no, it still sounds crazy." But I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I can't win with you people. It's a hot either way. So yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I don't know why it doesn't. Nothing like shocks me at all. I mean, I think, but it's all a test too. It's all like, can you handle seeing this? Because every time I see something like that happens to me, it goes up a notch.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine like the common person dealing with something like that.
No.
They'd sign themselves up for fucking rehab. They'd be ready for the game farm.
You have to really be. You kind of go through the mental Olympics when you start getting into all this stuff. And I've definitely been tested in the mental Olympics. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I've managed to stay really grounded, really solid. And I think that's why I share these things with people, because I know these things happen to other people, but it helps to know that what they're experiencing I'm having that same experience,
Yeah.
that relatable thing,
Yeah.
and not to be afraid. And anything that does, like, I've had some things recently that have happened where I'm like, that wasn't cool. But I know how to like really like, bring it back to like, I'm not really stoked that happened, but let's not have that happen again, and on to the next. I try not to really let it freak me out too much, and I find that the more, if I do get freaked out by something, like, the worse it gets. So I've learned how to really be like, it's, you know what, this is just what it is, and kind of move on. That's the only way I can really.
I'm slowly learning.
Yeah.
Every step into this, I'm like, oh God.
It's not the best that scares me.
I also realize that sometimes I've had things happen to me that really bring me back to when I was a kid, because I was really terrified of the dark, and I was super scared of like, anything supernatural too, because it freaked me out. But so I'll have certain things.
For me.
Well, yeah. So I definitely have been brought back to some moments when I was a kid, like even recently. In fact, about a couple months ago, I was like, I woke up in the middle of the night, that like scared, like little kid feeling, like something was under my bed. And what I realized was that it was me needing to heal some stuff that happened to me when I was a kid, around being fearful and at night and having bad dreams and stuff. And but also I had to realize, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good. Whatever it is, you know what? I just got to give it love. And that's the other thing I tell people, like, of course, I'll wake up fists flying and like scream, going, get the F off me, and like flipping things off, and I'm like, oh, just kidding.
I do that a lot too, but it's usually my cat.
Mama's the best cat ever. I love you, Mama.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, this is what everybody's going through this right now, this training, like all the shit I went through a couple of years ago. This is like all the stuff that everybody's going through right now, because guess what? You're all along for the ride.
Yep. Striving for gold.
So I wanted to take a minute before we wrapped it up, and just, again, thank you so much, Marion, for coming on.
Hats off, seriously. That was it.
And I love doing this. I really, truly love doing this.
I would like to do this more, but it seems like twice a month is good enough.
We're good there. We're good right there. Yeah. But I wanted to mention too, I don't know if Sherry was on earlier, she's actually the reason why we know each other. And so, I feel like I ought to mention her thing that's coming up on the 26th. There's a Healers Network thing.
I would say, anybody got anything? Well, get it out.
I know Roy's going to be a part of that. I don't know that we are, because we've got all sorts of stuff going on.
I'm starting a new job like 2 days from now, so everything's kind of up in the air, but.
We've got a pop-up shop coming up tomorrow in Southbury.
In Southbury. Come, be there or be square, you motherfuckers.
I mean, Marion, hop on a plane, get on over here.
It should be a good time.
Here I come.
Yeah. Gotta stay long enough to pay taxes. Let's put it that way.
There you go. Well, she's in California. Same difference.
Jesus Christ! Sorry. Does it hurt?
I like that. Sorry.
And then
Still cooler than Connecticut.
Sunday we've got our Psychics and Swears, the mini readings.
Oh yeah. Come on down. Come on in. Water's fine. Sunday morning. And afternoon.
Marion, what we can do for you too is we can put your, little plug for your page on our page too. So this way,
100%.
And we'll put everything up on YouTube. I had problems with Zoom, so I'm not sure how much of this got recorded, sadly. And we had some weirdness tonight. So it's
weirdness is okay. I can take weirdness. I can handle.
But no, I mean without not being able to post it on Facebook for whatever reason.
Yeah, fuck that weirdness.
Like just
who knows? Facebook is so weird. So Zoom.
From Peter saying that he lost sound, and Sherry's having problems. Everybody's just having problems with their technology tonight. So.
But I'm really stoked because my friend Ernestine showed up, and she's amazing. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
You said Stokes, so now I know you're from California.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Now, my old man from California, so I've been growing up with that shit my whole life.
Yeah.
And everything's rad, man. Everything's growing up with it. Oh, yeah. I've been growing up with it.
And I was super stoked to see Roy, too, because I like Roy. Roy's psychic.
Good guy.
Psychic.
We've had a lot of people in and out today. Roy, I loved your little thing that you did this morning. I mean, I guess it was last night for you, but I enjoyed.
Sorry. Well, no, I know that made me laugh. So it was really pretty. It was pretty cool. He did something on Clubhouse this morning, like 6:00 in the morning.
Christ.
Yeah. Godly time of the day.
But for him it was night. So
right there he is.
Hey.
Just went silent. Especially after the freakiness started.
I freaking love
it. Peter was getting enough attention.
Amazing.
All right,
Roy, thank you for showing up all the way from Australia.
New Zealand.
It's been my pleasure. I'm always here to support you guys.
Likewise.
Oh, definitely. Likewise, my friend. We've got to have you on here at some point so you can sing to people.
Any fucking time. I would love it. I'll get up early to do it.
Next to a haunted house.
We're in one.
Yeah.
This is a haunted house, man.
True story. His grandfather rings bells all the times and tells me stories about peanut butter.
That and we got shadow people fucking popping up and down around here now.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Through haunted houses and investigations while I'm asleep.
Come on over, Ray. You can investigate over here.
Any goddamn time.
There's plenty for you to investigate, I'm telling you. Just leave, the only thing is to ask this grandfather to, just leave him be. Everybody else you can bother them.
Just tell him, fuck off, Pops.
Hey, John.
What's up?
John, really quickly,
the expression goes, which means put him to rest.
What was that, man?
Oh,
put him to rest.
Hold on, Roy.
What were you saying, Roy?
Nothing, Marion. That's just I'm moving the date with them.
Freaking love, right?
So John, I don't know if it's necessarily connected to druidism, but I don't know if what you practice or if you have a connection to druids or any of that stuff or something that falls
Here's
along
my
in
connection
the,
to druids.
yeah. So you have a connection, a really deep connection to the druid stuff, which potentially also means that you have a connection to Orion, because the original Orions, when everything kind of went to shit and up there in the system, a lot of Orions came here down to Earth, and a lot of them came down here and created druidism. So.
Oh shit! Gotta look into this.
Yep. Well, I mean, it makes sense from where your family's from, so.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So you, my friend, we all have galactic history. Literally, all of us do. Not every single person that's even on this call has a galactic.
Oh, for sure. And I got the fairy dust.
Of that, I have no doubt.
Yeah, you freaking elemental, you.
I did like this on a lotto ticket the other day, and all of a sudden it had $25 that, you know.
25 on a $5 scratch off, not bad.
Yep.
Gotta hit that 50 G's for me, honey.
So now every time he gets one, he's like, do it again.
Yeah, I don't get them often, but when I do, I tell her, throw some magic on it.
Nice.
I'm like, well, I just did it the one time, you know.
Yeah, by the way, I'm like notoriously bad luck with scratch offs. What a waste.
He's never won one except for that.
I think I've broken even maybe 4 times in my whole fucking life. And one time I'm with her, boom, I get a big ticket.
All right, folks, we're going to call it a night. Thank you again.
Salutations. Thank you so much for coming. It's appreciated.
Love to you all.
Marion,
So
thank
much
you for
love.
being such a cordial guest. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me on, you guys. It was a great.
We're going to post the
That was all
madness.
ours. Oh, hell yeah. We're posting it.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
it was crazy.
All right, dude. Signing off.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.
Good morning, wherever you are, wherever you may be. Right. I'll see you, bud.
Bye.